Podcast starts at 19 seconds.
Welcome to Fit the Description of Black Men's Podcast, where various black men come together to talk about life, society, entertainment, culture, news, and whatever else we want to talk about from various black men's perspectives. I'm your host, G, and today we got Adam.
Hey.
And we'll see if we get anybody else join in later. So now, with that being said, make sure on your way in to hit that subscribe or follow, depending on your platform. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to check out the Clips channel, Fit the Description Podcast, over there on YouTube. And beyond that, let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, man, what's going on with you?
Work. New client. More work. Fatherhood. Still, that's a never-ending thing. But just, pretty much has been busy dealing with a couple of crises from my clients and everything, which takes up the majority of my time and even more when I get home to do the paperwork and a couple other things. But it's all enjoyable. It keeps me busy, but sometimes I'm just like, I want to have a lazy week. Just be like, I don't want to be responsible for anybody already.
So I actually have a story for you, and I only want to talk about this because I want to make sure people are aware. I texted to you over the phone, but I didn't give you all the details. But so I'll tell you the story about what happened. So basically, I want to say this happened last week. I wound up applying for this job because there's this job posting site. It's basically for a nonprofit, work from home, part-time, about $30 an hour. So I was like, okay, that's fine, that's cool. Work from home, $30 an hour, and all it was just a data entry job. So I'm like, okay, I could do that. That's cool. Just putting in paperwork and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, let's do this, right?
Uh-huh.
So I wound up applying. Pretty much, I want to say the next day they hit me up. And they text me and they said, no, my fault. They sent me an email and they told me to download this app because they want to have a job interview through this app. Now, mind you, I know some people may say there's red flags, but I've been in job interviews like that lately where they download the app and then you have to talk to the app and they have a chat room and all this stuff. So that's been happening a lot more.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. So as I got in here, they were texting me, and they went through the process. Actually, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find some of the text messages. So yeah, so basically they hit me up, I want to say, the next day around 9 o'clock because they said, when you're ready, you got to download this app and then you got to send them. Basically, it's called Ready Data Entry Monthly is what it was. So I went ahead, put that in, and then that was 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't hear from them till about 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 hours later.
Yeah. Oh, my fault. No, I'm reading it. Not till 12 o'clock.
So you applied for it, then they hit you up and said, all right, let's have you download. No, they replied back to you at 12.
No. So I applied. They sent me an email, and basically it said, well, I guess I should clarify. The hiring website that I was using they sent an email through that, and then it went to my email. And basically it said I had to put in this code so they can so I could do the interview. Well, not this code, but basically just they had me download this app and I had to put in this message so I could do this interview. And so that was at 9 o'clock that morning. I didn't hear back from them till 12 because I got the email the night before.
Okay.
So yeah. So from 9 to like 12, I didn't hear back from them till 12, and then finally they did an entire thing of they talked about the interview, all that stuff. And so the crazy thing is, the part that sucks is when you have a job interview, you gotta get all dressed and you gotta shave and everything,
Mm-hmm.
So I did all that. I did all the grooming and all that stuff. I went the extra mile, had to do all those things, shave, all that good stuff. Had to, quickly had to get my dress shirt all ironed and stuff. So had to do that really quickly because this kind of happened kind of out the blue in a way. So I was thinking that there was going to be a call. Yeah, I'm going to just summarize this. They said we're going to do it through text because it's kind of fair for everybody, and so there's no bias. There's no judgment, there's no feelings of, oh well, you have biases or anything like that. It's everybody's neutral. Everybody. Hello.
Um, my phone disconnected.
Okay. What was the last thing you heard?
They said that it was they wanted to text you because it was fair.
Yeah. So
for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Basically, yeah. It was fair. There's no biases, all that stuff. Like everybody's on an open playing field. We can't really judge you, so we're just gonna text you. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's cool. Like, I
mean,
like.
that sounds good, but that's also kind of admitting that something like that has happened before, or someone has a fear that something like that will happen.
Yeah, and to me, I like that because you can't really judge. You got to judge somebody by what they tell you in their content. I'm like, I like this. This actually makes sense to me. So yeah. Although, like anybody says, so be aware this is all done through text. So watch say texting through app. And we were just going down it. And then it stopped for a while. So I want to say, looking at the message, it went from 12, and then they went MIA, and I didn't hear back from them until 4:00.
Wow.
Yeah. So it went from there from 12 to 4. Then finally they went in and they're like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead, let's do all the interview. They put me down. I actually looked at the website, and yeah, they actually do have a website. It's a .org. I saw it. I didn't really like how the website looked. Like, I know plenty of people who have websites and just like they don't really care as long as it works.
Yeah, it's just a website for the purpose of having a website.
Yeah, pretty much. And it didn't look great, but I was like, okay. So they went down it, and so I'm gonna tell you what it said. They said compensation $30 per hour, annual bonus 30% base salary, sign on bonus 20% of base salary.
That's a lot of positives right there.
Right?
But what requirements for the job?
Okay, I'll just read it right here. It says enter customers' business and operational data into company's database system, review information for accuracy and correct any errors or inconsistencies, update and maintain electronic records and files, organize documents and maintain confidential information, perform quality checks to ensure data's integrity, meet daily productive and accuracy goals, communicate professionally with supervisors and team members as assigned, and that's basically it. I'm looking at that. That's what it was.
Okay.
So yeah. So is there anything at that point that kind of makes you go, makes you feel iffy?
Well, that's a lot of money for doing something that they're not really giving any information on who they do business with. Because some businesses have required or do require that you pay your employees a certain amount because they're paying you a certain amount, or for the contract that you have with them. That's a thing. So it would, to me, be like, well, what companies are they working with that would allow such a good pay? And it's not even the pay. The pay is good, but it's more so the bonuses that they were talking about.
Yep, that was the key thing. That was number one. I wasn't paying attention to it because I was just, me, I was just looking for a job. But yeah, that was the key thing. Those bonuses. That should have kind of gave me a clue, but I didn't pay attention to that because those bonuses that's kind of weird for a part-time entry level. Like $30 an hour, okay, maybe $30 an hour because I live in California and a lot of jobs are now paying $30 an hour, and plus it's a nonprofit. So I'm like, okay, maybe. But the bonuses was kind of the weird part.
Well, the fact that it's a nonprofit in itself, that's also another thing. Nonprofits, they don't necessarily have the ability to pay you, the amounts that you would normally get paid from organizations that are regular for-profit organizations. They get money in order to keep making money so they can pay it out. So nonprofits are normally, they normally pay low in the first place.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say on that.
I mean, no, I think nonprofits like because I know people work from nonprofits and they do get paid, so they have to pay somebody. But I was like, my mindset was like, okay, maybe they don't. Maybe it's going to be like a small, a small kind of workforce, whatever. That's what I think. So it's probably was going to be a lot of work. And like I said, living in California,
That I can see that.
yeah. And also like I said, they want to do right. They want to do right by their employees. Usually nonprofits like to do right by people. So
Yeah, they try.
that's a better statement. I'll give you that. That's a better statement. They try. I agree. But it does make sense because nonprofits do be the one where like they can pay you and they can take care of you. That mentality, they will.
But yeah, so after you called them, I mean I called them, excuse me, but they texted you back around 4 p.m. So what happened after that?
Yeah. Oh, this is the other thing too. Okay, so here's the benefits that they sent me. They said medical, dental, and vision, 100% of premiums are fully covered for the employees and all
I'm
dependents.
sorry, you
Huh?
100%.
Premiums are fully covered for all employees and their dependents.
So I just want to verify that. Does that mean that they pay for insurance, even if you have a copay, but they pay for it? You don't have to pay anything out of pocket going towards um, insurance benefits, dental
So
benefits.
so I'm just reading what's on here. Now, the way I was thinking, but like in my mind, I would say, okay, this is probably something that they had to send by default. But I'm a part time person, so they'll probably just, when we get on the call, they'll probably just take it back.
Okay.
Because like sometimes that happens where like they'll send something by default, and they'll be like, yeah, that's not exactly right. That's just for full time employees. Part time, you're under different rules. That's not what they said. That's what I was assuming. But this is
I
what it
get that.
says. It says, and this should have been a red flag here too. Medical, dental, and vision, 100% of premiums are fully covered for all employees and their dependents. Life insurance, comprehensive coverage provided. Accidental death and disbarment insurance, full protection in the event of accidents.
Well, that part's normal. A lot of jobs,
Yeah.
but
Part time, though, is the one thing that's kind of like, that's usually a
you
4 time.
probably they probably make it available to you that you just get a percentage out, a percentage of it, or even part time can leave it full time, and you're being informed of the benefits that may make you want to stay.
Yeah. Hold
So
on.
that's how I see that too.
Yeah, hold on. I'm not done yet, though. All right. Supplemental executive retirement plan, additional retirement plan savings for eligible employees, stock options. All team members are eligible to receive stock options.
I mean, that
Restrict
sounds
restricted stock options, opportunities to participate in a company's stock programs, 401k plan, access to a robust retirement savings program, PTO, a minimum of 3 days per quarter, time off is encouraged and not limited, and not just unlimited but required for work life balance. Parental leave, 10 weeks of fully paid time off for new parents with flexible scheduling, a sign-on bonus, a generous sign-on bonus to welcome you to the team.
a lot of those sound like stuff that you get from working at enterprise. If I'm being honest with you, when it comes to bonuses, things of that nature, the leave, the type of leave, that 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 part, that all sounds normal with a good amount of jobs as well.
But is that for a full time position or part time? Because I know when I play, like some of these benefits you don't get for a part
It's
time.
full time,
Yeah, it's full time.
but depending on the company, uh, and what their beliefs are as a company, they may give you some of those things. They make some of those available to you, such as like part time leaving because you had a newborn kid. I can see that happening. I can see that happening. Um, I can also see like you having to work a certain amount of time to get certain benefits available to you like that. Even if it's not, for other people, it's available after a certain amount of time or right when you get hired. You might have to work for a certain amount of time. Again,
Yeah,
it depends on the company. And for me, working in companies in a couple of different states, I can verify. Yeah, yeah, it does depend on the company. Depends on how big or how small. as well as how much money they're getting in.
Yeah, but that's usually for a full-time position, not a part-time.
Usually,
Yeah.
but it is available for some of those benefits. Specifically,
Yes.
the newborn baby one is available for part-time individuals as well.
Yes, like I said, I agree. Some of those, but not all of these. I don't think I've ever, especially like the big thing was the stock option for a nonprofit.
See, the stock option, that one I can kind of believe too, but you're not going to get the same
For
amount,
but for a
you know,
non
that a
but
full
from a
time.
nonprofit.
From a non-profit, and that's the thing. From a non-profit, I can't even say stock options in general.
Yeah, that was
You
that
know,
was
that's the part too. I mean, depending on the company, I think it all depends on the company.
but oh no
Is
no
this like a
I
tech
get that.
company?
No, I get that you already said that, but what I'm saying is for a nonprofit a stock option plan for a nonprofit.
Is this a tech company? Like, what type of company are we talking about? What's this for? Was
Basically,
this
basically this from basically what it is basically what they told me was it's a rescue for animals, but when you look it up, it looks like it's more of a nonprofit rescue for dogs.
no? I don't believe there would be any stock options for that type of company.
Exactly. That should right there. I should have caught it, but man, I was not paying attention. First lesson.
I,
First lesson. Make sure to read through the stuff. Don't just skip ahead, and pay attention to what they're saying.
well, see, and all of that too. Like you said, you went to the website. That's something I would have done. I would have been looking up all these things, and right when that happened too, I don't know what type of stock options do they have. I would start looking up their stock, see if they had it publicly traded or if it's like a private. It's not out yet on the market. If there's any information at all, reviews regarding like that, because stocks and other, some things you might be able to find being publicly discussed in forums and whatnot. But I would have spent a good amount of time doing the research like you did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll get into that in a sec. But one of the warnings I did see that kind of was a little bit of a red flag was when I looked at the what is it the copyright symbol at the bottom of the website. It said I think it said from 2016 through 2019, so they never updated that, and that should have been updated.
Yeah,
So that was one of those things I said, huh, okay. But like I said, I'm like, okay, maybe these people don't care because again, like I said earlier, I ran into people like that. They don't put no time or no care to the website, so whatever. I'll let that slide. So, anyways, so yeah, like I said, there's some red flags there. Like it's I should have read through it better. I was just like, just give me the job. I don't care. The
I
other
get
thing,
that.
yes. So they basically said after joining, you go for a 1 week training. I'm like, okay, that's cool, whatever. Then they asked me an interview questionnaire. So, so I'll just go down the questionnaire. Why not? So first thing it says, can you tell me about yourself and what you're interested in and what interests you in this data entry associate position?
Right, that's a basic question.
Yeah. Describe a time when you had to pay close attention to detail. What was the outcome?
Basic question.
Basic question. A little vague, but yeah. How do you stay organized when you have multiple tasks or deadlines?
That's another basic question.
That's a good one. If you realize you made a mistake after submitting your work, what would you do?
The basic question,
Basic
especially in
question.
this position.
Yep. Tell me about a time you learned a new software or tool quickly. How did you approach it?
That's a basic question for that field, but it's a general question. It's just a modified general question. Like, tell me about something that you do about a method you learned in therapy and how you applied it.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I can see that. That's a general, a little bit more challenging, still going towards basic question.
Yeah. This role involves repetitive tasks that require consistent accuracy. How do you stay focused during repetitive work?
Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
general question too.
Mm-hmm. Describe a situation where you worked as part of a team to complete a project or assignment. What was your role?
Basic question. Well, challenging basic question. Yeah.
Mm. How comfortable are you with using tools like Excel, Google Sheets, or other computer application? Can you give an example of how you've used them?
It's a basic question.
Mm. Why should we hire you for this position, even if you don't have much professional experience?
That's a basic question. Why
Yes.
why should we consider you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah. So like you said, basic questions, nothing bad, nothing there. So I answered all those questions. Blah 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 blah.
It's just easier to say it in person, talk it instead of text it because you're talking about it, you really getting the feel across the person. Texting it is just so, it doesn't give you the feeling, the understanding that you're trying to convey to the interviewer.
Ding 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 ding. You kind of already got it. Second red flag. Text doing an interview with strictly texting. That's a heavy red flag. Like I've never done an interview like this. I'm like, my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe this is just the way they do it. This is just a new way to do it. But no, like I mean, when I looked it up, no, a normal job interview, there has to be some kind of discourse at least.
Okay. So it was really more. I can see that where you're coming from with that. Yeah, it did seem more like scam like type going towards that area. I
Mm-hmm.
get it. Sometimes, depending on the business, you might not have time. I mean, that's why you make time. You put time aside for on certain days to hold these interviews,
Mm-hmm.
so that way it can be done properly. Because yeah, this doesn't make sense. That part doesn't make sense. I get it. We're in a technological age, but regardless, Zoom call that's not in person. It's a couple of different ways you can do things for these interviews. But if you have time to text, you have time to talk.
Yep, exactly. Another red flag again. So now it's starting to get kind of the interview is going, but that's another red flag I should have mentioned is the time it took for me to have the interview. Going from 9 to 12 and 12 to 4, that's not normal.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
An interview is anywhere between 15 and maybe 45 minutes.
yeah. It could go an hour. It could go an hour.
It could.
Yeah,
It could.
it
Yeah,
all depends on it depends on the job. But yeah, it usually goes from 15 minutes to an hour for the most part. I've heard of job interviews that are longer. I never been in one, but I heard of them. But usually that's more like upper management stuff.
I believe that, especially if you go from one interview directly to another interview.
Yeah.
I forget what type of interviews those are, but I did one of those interviews before where it went from one basic and then you immediately went to the next interview with the person who was actually doing the hiring or the person in a higher position. And then you either got the position or they told you to come in for an interview for another position or something, somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, uh, I understand that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you this. So please complete the following question to help us better understand your availability and payroll preferences. Availability for your work hours. How many hours can you work? Maximum is 40 hours per week. I'm kind of skipping around, but that, like I said, that's probably a basic question. Um, Start date. If selected for the position, when will you be available to start? Basic question, correct?
Yeah, basic
Yeah.
question.
Payroll preferences. Would you prefer to receive your salary on a weekly or bi-weekly basis? What's your preferred method of payment? Options: direct deposit, wire transfer, credit card. Which financial institution do you currently use for salary deposits?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, sometimes they tell you right away, you're either going to get paid this way or this way. That's good that they give you an option. I like that. But at the same time, how am I going to my financial institution? You don't need to know that information unless you are hiring me. That's the onboarding process. Like after you decided that you wanted to offer me a position, and after I decided I was going to accept it.
That's a good catch. You see, I missed that part. I missed that part. That's a great catch. You're right. That's not a question you should be asking during an interview. That's a question you should be asking when they're trying to hire you on. So I didn't give them like my account number or nothing, but I did tell them what bank I bank at. But that's a great catch. You're totally right with that. That's what I missed. That's why I said that payroll preference, that third one, was another red flag.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that, like I said, another one I shouldn't have made. So all right. So then here we go. They said, thank you for your consideration. Conduct a detailed review of your resume and responses. Blah blah blah. Due to exceptionally high level of interest, 50 new applications received. We temporarily suspended the job posting while we evaluate each candidate individually.
That's not something that they need to tell you.
Yeah, another red flag. There you go. Good catch. Please follow up with me at 8 a.m. tomorrow, your local time. At which point we will proceed with the candidacy review.
Okay, that's another process. It's like it's not your job to follow up with them at this point. It's their job to follow up with you.
Uh,
No,
yeah,
because it's if this was ongoing for a while, then yes. But after you submit your information, that means that they're going to review it. They're going to make a decision, on who they're going to accept, call, talk to, whatever the case may be. That's not up to you to call them. Imagine if this is why they just said that due to the demand, it's a high intensity. We're going to have we're going to have you call at 8 a.m. tomorrow, right?
yes.
If it's so much high intensity of applicants, why would you increase the workload on yourself by having individuals, 50 plus individuals, as I said, call all at the same time?
Damn, good catch. Good catch. I'll give you that, man. Good catch.
Because that's just going to do nothing but stress them out, not give them the proper time to review and go over the information, because of the time it is right now. Not be able to have, the conversations that they need to have with the individuals, go over the information, compare what skills and what you bring to the table with the other applicants and everything. Like, oh, I'm going to make a decision tomorrow. I mean, maybe not a decision. Maybe they're going to go ahead and decide, okay, well, we can go forward with these applicants and do another thing. But, it to me, that doesn't make sense, especially for a nonprofit. You already have a lot of work, probably have individuals that, assuming, you know, underpaid because it's a nonprofit again. Um, and you're just going to put more stress on the individual. And even then, who is the individual who's doing this? What one individual, if not a team, because we don't know at this point, but I'm going to assume one or two individuals going over the documentation to decide who they're going to go forward with. How are you going to go forward with someone when you didn't even initially speak to them for them to explain all the information that they put down? Because I'm going to need you to explain this in better detail for me after reading it. Like, yeah, go ahead and explain it to me, because again, I'm sending it through a text. So that also means that it's a limited amount that I can send. And especially for people who are just writing without actually not documenting the numbers or anything, they're just giving you a whole story. And that story can be like all over the place. So can you explain what you meant by this and this? It takes time. It takes time.
Yeah, and and you see, like I said, there's a lot of red flags here. I understand a lot of us out there are desperate for looking for work, but don't let your don't let your desperation get you caught up like as a fool.
Yeah.
So
Because especially when you're receiving good news after good news, then yeah, it's
wait a
you
minute.
might not see them.
Speaking of good news, I am pleased to inform you that Incorporated has decided to extend you an official offer of employment. It is my pleasure to personally welcome you to the organization.
Okay.
So I got hired. Yeah.
That's positive suspicion.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Yep. So at this point, Alex, I want to shout out to my mom. Now this is the next day, but before that, my mom did take time to look into him and stuff. And no, my fault. It was actually this morning she looked into him. She was looking into them because she was like, okay, yeah, there's something off here. This entire process doesn't seem right. It's kind of weird. So, and so what my mom did, because she's like, oh, you should call. I said, I don't want to call, come in an interview. I don't want them to say nothing. I said, can you call? So it doesn't look as suspicious.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you call because you could just be like a regular person. Because if I call, it may, who knows? Because if it's legit, I may come off looking kind of looking bad.
Yeah.
But if she calls, it's like, okay, it's just some random person asking questions, whatever. So she wound up calling and she said, I guess, and I looked after her too. I guess we found like multiple websites, and then when she called, I think it sent her someplace else, or it kept telling her to email or to send them a chat. They weren't willing to pick up the phone. The one that I like to say, it said, based on your impressment assessment score of 8.9 out of 10, you successfully qualify for the position. So are we there yet? Okay. So then, okay, see, this is where I should have been kind of like iffy. So just so you know, they got my address.
I mean, that's not the best thing, but I understand because it's an application.
Yep.
But it's not the worst thing they can do. I mean,
Yep.
the worst thing they can do is when they get your private information.
Yep. So I'm skipping a little bit ahead, but anyways, it's saying our design training coordinator will provide comprehensive guidance on the proper use of the proper use and application require software program to support your training. The company will also supply a fast, reliable internet connection following the training coordinator's instructions and ensuring all necessary programs are ready and will help you maintain accuracy and efficiency in your work.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes there might be things like that, or it's going to seem suspicious. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. But I know there's more to the story, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you could check your text, and if you could read it, I want you to read it on your end.
okay. I read it, and I like that at the bottom it said that you're not responsible for getting these items, that the company will pay for them themselves.
There's more.
So,
Wait a minute. There's more to it. So before you saying that, Can you read off the required list of materials for the position? Can you read them off? And can you read
you
it off?
read off the required items, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, let me go back to it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, required materials for the position. One, a Bose A30 aviation headset costing $1,299. Two, iPhone 17 Pro Max 512 gigabyte model, $1,399. iPad Pro M4 chip, $256,999. 16-inch MacBook Pro, $3,999. Doesn't even give you the specs for that one, but just like, oh, it's the cost of it. The Alienware 16 Area 51 gaming laptop, okay, $3,299.99. And one Pro Display XDR monitors with nano textured glass, $5,999. Okay.
So back to what you were saying. That what you like.
So all I was saying was that at the bottom, it said this list outlines the essential equipment necessary for the role. The list of materials has been provided to give you an overview of the items you will be utilizing, as well as to ascertain whether you will have adequate space for the setup within your residence. Please note, you are not required to purchase any of the materials listed above. All equipment and associated costs will be fully covered by the company, and appropriate arrangements will be made for the acquisition and delivery of the required items. Okay.
So
Okay. So you obviously working for a Fortune 10 company within the Fortune 500 company at this point in time with those type of things. They're like, we know that these items are going to be good and we need you to have them, but you can also use them for your own private purposes outside of business. Apparently is what I'm going with, because I'm going to be honest, with the different companies I worked for, you know what type of computers they give me?
I'm listening.
Dells.
Yeah.
And the basic monitors of Dells. There's no Alienware. There's no nothing of that. The laptops are pretty good for the business computer laptops, I will say that. But the monitors and all the other stuff, yeah, no. The company I work for right now, they just gave me a stand-up desk. Just, just did. But
That's pretty nice. I actually would love to have a stand-up desk.
they're affordable on Amazon. I was looking at a lot of different ones for the home, and I can say that they're affordable. But of course, depends on what one you want and how good they are. All of that goes into that. But regardless, I don't understand why you need a 5,999 gaming monitor for data entry. Data entry. Please explain what data you need to see in such high resolution.
That's when my red flag started going off like crazy. I'm like, I know data entry positions. I know people work for data entry positions. Like you said, normally it's a bank, and normally they send you. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me get there. So that was the red flag. That was the one that set me off. So, anyways, let me get there. So I asked them. I said, let me read this off. Once again, welcome to the team. As you get started in your role, it's important to understand how our company handles acquisition of work-related materials and equipment. Instead of purchasing items directly from the vendors, we use a trust-based model for our resource management. In the process, the company issues a check to the employee, who is then responsible for depositing it and using the funds specifically to acquire the necessary tools, software, or office equipment required for the role. This approach is deliberate and reflects our core values, trust and responsibility, and accountability. By giving employees the autonomy to manage their resources, we streamline internal operations and create a space for individuals to demonstrate their reliability and sound financial judgment. To support you, we will be providing a check to help you purchase software from our long-standing reputable vendors. Additional funds will also be allocated to cover the cost of essential mini office equipment, ensuring you are fully equipped to perform your work efficiently and professionally. It is essential these funds are handled with care and used strictly according to the instructions provided. This system is a reflection of the trust we place in our team members. How you manage this responsibility will contribute to the working relationship we are building, one that is grounded in mutual respect and shared values. We believe in forming long-term partnerships with people who are committed to high standards, personal integrity, and excellent work. We are confident that this process will set the tone for productive and rewarding collaboration. The other ability to deliver exceptional quality of work and earn our trust.
Okay. It sounds like this business or the people in this business are dumb at this point because how am I going to send a person I don't even know, nor do I have the bank information for, or anything, a check with all this money to purchase these high things that are unnecessary and not even needed? So what did you say after, or so what else happened?
Before I say what's after, I want to hear your thoughts because you didn't give me your full thoughts of what you thought about that part.
Okay. I don't understand.
You did said those people are idiots.
But I think so because I know it at this point. I think everybody would know it's a scam. They're going to send you a fake check, and they're going to say you took the money, you owe the money, even though you didn't cash it or whatever. Or they're going to just tell you that you didn't buy the items or something, right? It's going to go to your account. They're going to tell you to get the items. You're going to get the items. And then they're going to say something about, something didn't go through or work right. And they're going to ask for you to return the item since you bought. And it's that whole process. They're just going to basically, then you're going to be stuck with that negative 10,000, 12,000. I don't even know how much it costs.
I talked to B about it. I think he did a math. He said it would have been basically been about.
Thank 15. You. You're welcome. You have a wonderful day. You as well. Sorry.
No, it's cool. No, I talked to B
We're
about it,
wrong.
and when he did the math, he said it would be about $15,000. It would have been a $15,000 check. I
So
would
it
have been.
was around $15,000.
Yeah, it would have been about 50,000 when he did the math.
Yeah, no, I'm good. you know. But at the same time, I feel like this is that type of job that it's not going to get adults that know, or at a certain point, it's just like, nope. What it's going to get is it's going to get the ones who are applying for it, like kids or individuals who aren't aware of like these type of scams and like I would say like yeah, like foreigners or where I can see someone saying, I was offered a position and this is what it is and they're happy because they found work.
Said the last thing they said. Once you receive the certified check from your company, you may deposit into your bank account using any standard method, Viva teller, ATM, or drive-through. As the check is certified and issued by a reputable source, the funds are typically credited to you to your account within 24 hours or sooner, allowing for prompt access. Is expected to clear without any issues within this time frame.
Hmm.
And that's when I'm like, all right, nah. But I tell them like I've been in a situation like this before, but usually they send me a laptop. Why like I don't get why you're sending me a check so I can pay for it.
I still go by what I said earlier in regards to the what they were doing and when they said, it's gonna take us time, call us back. Yeah, okay. Sure, sure, sure.
Cause I mean like I said I got hired, so I'm like okay cool I'm down like I'm cool with this. But then I went through the process and like I said as soon as it got to the equipment I'm like this is a data entry job. Why am I spending like you said $6,000 on monitors? At that point when that happened, I'm like, all right, there's something really wrong here.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I
yeah, so
agree.
there was a don't get me wrong, there was a lot of steps before that where I'm just like, all right. But then that one whole entire $6,000 monitor thing and like the $1,200 headphones, I'm like, this is a data analyst job. Why do I need this high end equipment? Why do I need to get an iPod Max Pro?
Yeah,
And
and
then
I mean, as a company phone, they're supposed to have those things to send them to you regardless.
exactly. That's what it is. They're supposed to provide them. Like I said, I've done something like this, but they provided me the equipment. They don't give you a check and say, "Oh, go pay for it." The only time I've ever done that was when I was working at a company and we have company cards because I kind of had to. But it was never nothing like that. It was like you had to go. They gave you a company card. You had to go buy different parts or equipment, and you brought it back so they could get the job done.
So what happened after that? Did they send you the check?
Uh, well, once I figured out what was going on, I was thinking about having them send me the check, and I was going to probably take it to like a bank or actually, like I said, I know I have a friend that knows a cop. And I was going to talk to them about it, see what we could do, but I just kind of left it alone. I said, you know what? I don't want to. I don't even want to take the time to do that. Part of me wanted to do that just to be kind of spiteful, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to do all that. I got other shit going on in my life, so I just let it go. So after that, I haven't heard back from them.
Well, at least you caught on. At least you found out what was going on. It wasn't too late.
I like how you said that with a tone of "I have no faith in you."
Man, I have faith. You didn't get taken advantage of. That's faith in somebody.
I feel like you're trying to say you should have caught on a long time ago.
No, no, no. I feel like I mean the way that things went and then with the age that we're in, a lot of technology we're going towards more AI technology based things. I mean, I get that a lot of people will say that, no job is going to do that. Well, you know, everybody's different. Every business does things a little bit differently. Now, I do agree that there should have been more paper, an in-person interview, records that companies keep of people who applied and whatnot. But
That one was the longest and the only one I ever did that was full, that was all text. I never had a job interview like that in my entire life.
Well, I did, but that was like when I was 19, 20, and I was just applying for everything that I wanted to get a job, so
No, but you're talking about something like this where you have an interview and stuff straight through text, and like you said, they don't ask for any information. No, I've never had one like this.
it wasn't through text, but it was through email.
Yeah,
And that was
yeah, but
1920.
but there's a point where they're like, okay, we need to talk to you so we know who
I'm
you
not
are.
going to that one. So that's what I mean by that. Like, hey, I did one through email, not through text, and I was 20, and it really felt because of all the information they gave me, the research I did on it, it seemed legit, And then, yeah, they said I would need the equipment in order to do the work. And I've never, at that point, being 20, I've never had any job that where I needed equipment to do it.
Yeah.
So I believed it. It sounded believable to me. So they sent me a check and I went to go try and cash it and it didn't cash. So
Oh, so you actually went through with it?
I did. I was 20. That's
Man,
the
this
difference.
don't freaking look
And
at
I
me
didn't
as
have
all side
anybody.
eye.
This was like when I was living by myself though. So I didn't have nobody. And I was just like, I need work. I need a job. So that was it. So it sounded legit to me. Like go just get, but it wasn't no high end computer like what you're saying that they charged you. For me, it was just very simple. Go get a monitor. It can be a cheap monitor or whatever, something from Walmart. Basically whatever. Get a computer, a desktop that it can be cheap. Again, it's not expensive. You just need something to do, documentation and work on. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You know, I don't need to go get something that's an arm and a leg. It's just very simple things. And lo and behold, checked it in cash. I didn't get in trouble, but it was a lesson learned when I was going over it with a couple of with my mom. No, not my mom, with my dad at the time. And he was just like, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Ryan Jennifer, are those platoon of children you have?
Man, this is just lunch. And if
He said this is just lunch. What the fuck? You got a whole military line of kids ready.
and then yeah, this is just lunch. They're gonna be hungry again. They're
Let's say
voracious.
fuck kids. Let's say fuck the kids.
I don't even remember where the fuck I parked at.
I hate hearing shit like that, especially as a man. Don't say that. I hate hearing that. That's like one of the dumbest things a person can say. When you walk out of a store and you don't know where you park, it has to be the most.
Look, I told it. It's one particular area I always park in, but it was full, so it's just like I automatically go there when I come out the store.
I hate people that do that. Yeah, it's like it's just no. Especially if you're at your local like grocery store, you can only park in certain places. You know your car.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Look, you guys are both true. Saying it's but like I said, I always park on the right side, and I park in the distance. This time I had to park up close on the left side. So coming out, it's like muscle memory. I just went directly to where I always park at. And I look around and I'm like, what the fuck? My car ain't over here.
Sickness. He said it's like muscle memory. I like that. That's too funny. I went all the way to the back. I passed my car.
Keith, look, man. It ain't a lie because I really did just do that too. I went all the way to the back on the right side, and that's when I started looking around because it's just muscle memory. Oh, what the fuck? Where did I park? I don't remember.
Or what's the other one? What door did we come in? Stop it! Stop it!
What's the other one?
Would fucking when him and say, I don't know what door we came in. It's like, come on, bro.
Oh no, I'm not gonna. It's only one door in, one door out.
I hate hearing that shit. It's just certain things I don't like hearing, especially because women figure out where to park. like, yes, if it's a mall situation and you've been in the mall for a long time, and there's like maybe like four, because I think the only time I did that is when we went to some hotel, but it was like a couple of like it's very easy to lose your car
Oh, I know what you're talking
in a
about at this
fucking
point.
hotel area. Like,
It's like one of those, you're on floor E, F type shit, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah, you get to the elevator and it's just telling you floor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but when you get out, it's like E, F, G, and you're just like, okay,
yeah, it's
does
terrible.
this look familiar? And they all look familiar too. When you get out, there's no discernible difference.
No, all of the same 6 or 7 cars look exactly the same on every.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
I wish I had time. I'm about to drop this damn food off, and as soon as I drop the food off, I gotta go pick up my wife,
There you go.
come back, see that all the food is fucking gone, and that my kids are saying that I'm hungry.
That sounds absolutely terrible. You sound like a happy man. Well,
It sounds like my wallet crying.
at least you're honest about it.
And when my wallet cries, I cry. We have a very deep connection.
He said, "When I cry, you cry, we cry." Yeah. Oh man, yep. You know that's what happens when you have, like I said, a platoon. You should have stopped a long time ago, man.
My daughter keeps reminding me. She said I should have stopped at 1.
Yeah.
And then she said, as I get older, I'm thinking about it. You was okay. I allowed you to have another one, and that's when you guys should have stopped.
Yeah.
I just walk away from her, and she starts asking me for stuff in the same breath.
Yeah. I always say I'm glad I have the kids I have in front of me, because I know that they're not like that when they're not in front of me.
Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna have to let you guys go. I'm gonna end up talking to you guys later on.
All right, man.
All right, Adam.